right, everybody knows every Tuesday night at 8, another exciting and insightful edition of the MCW Cast. I'm Legacy MCW announcer Larry Legend.
I'm MCW promoter Dan McDevitt.
And I'm Tara.
And we are so happy to virtually have with us tonight former MCW standout superstar Tehuti Miles.
What's up?
Good to see you, man. Sorry we didn't get a chance to catch up last week at the Parkville show, but you know, it's so much going on. It's freaking 300 fires to put out. We didn't really get a chance to catch up much in person.
No, I totally understand, man.
Well, it was definitely good to see you, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys too. Seriously, yeah, it has been.
I missed out, and I was really kicking myself for accepting another booking on March 19th. Once it was announced that you and the rest of the Hitmakers were going to be right back in MCW.
Oh, well, I think everything happens for a reason, so it's all.
So
good.
you're down in Florida now. You staying down there?
Yeah.
I
live in Orlando. Yeah, love it down here.
Everybody that goes down there, everybody's heading down that way. No one wants to seem to come back.
Nah, I don't like the cold. I'm good.
We had snow on Monday this week, so.
Oh yeah, see.
Yeah, I mean it's March and the end of March, and we had snow, so
yeah,
I totally understand wanting to stay where it's warm.
I was just in Chicago this weekend and it's freezing, and I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm good.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like that Chicago hawk.
Yes. Yeah. It was windy too. It's a windy city, right?
Yeah. So in Orlando, are you like in that Winter Park area? Is that where I know a lot of the NXT guys get kind of centralized in that community? Is that where you reside?
Not at all. I like to stay to myself and away from everybody else. So I purposely didn't want to live where everybody else did.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick, I just want to give thanks to all of our listeners who are listening and following along on Facebook or YouTube, and also those who are listening to the broadcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Radio Public, and CastBox. Thanks for listening and following, and of course, subscribing, so that way you get all of our notifications about all of our content. So, there we go.
Hey man, Tehuti, you guys created quite the buzz, like virally on videos when we put the videos out of your guys' entrance. It kind of took off. You know, I don't know if you saw it. People were excited to see you guys back together. Was that the first was that the first appearance all of you guys together had made?
Yeah, wrestling appearance. We we get together every now and then, just by ourselves and stuff. But yeah, our first wrestling appearance together, yeah.
Yeah, people were excited to see it.
It was big because, we all kind of felt like we got the rug, whipped out from underneath us. You guys made it to TV. We all saw the potential down in NXT, and you made it to TV, and then you blinked and it was over.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is out of my control. It is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. All I can do is focus on what I can control, and that's always we're just working hard and getting after what I'm trying to get after for my goals and stuff. So,
speaking of which, this weekend you guys got some appearances coming up, right? Wrestlemania Weekend.
Oh yeah, we got we're gonna be at Wale Mania. We've got a match at GCW.
Oh, nice.
And a match on Reality of Wrestling, and we'll also be at WrestleCon as well. So pretty busy weekend.
Yeah, you got a busy weekend.
Yeah, those are big labels. Those aren't like the rinky-dink run of the mills. Reality, that's Booker T's. Of course,
Yep.
We all know GCW, what they're doing, and WrestleCon is actually the reason that all of this happens. The reason that everyone convenes around whatever city Mania is in is because of the first WrestleCon in 2015 in Secaucus. So, you're on all the major labels. So that's
good.
Great.
Can't complain at all. Sounds
so
good.
it's like a whole week-long thing now, isn't it? It's kind of morphosized into this just whole week of different events and everything. And then, of course, with WrestleMania being a 2-night event.
Yeah. I think it's like 4 days.
Yeah.
We'll be there for like 4 days or something like that.
Well,
So,
when do the
yeah,
shows start? Like Wednesday? Do the shows start like Wednesday night?
to be honest, I don't know. I just know
Monday.
we have two
Oh,
shows
really?
I
Yeah.
mean, probably you got to
on
imagine
Monday.
people are already down there, like now, So
Yeah. I can see people being there now. Yeah.
Yeah, a few years ago, in 2017, I went down to Orlando for WrestleMania, and we were there for like 11 or 12 days. And we were doing all the like touristy stuff first, like went to Disney, went to Universal and all that. And there were people with wrestling attire on the entire time we were there. So people definitely make like a vacation out of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
People are living it up in Dallas right now.
And there's a lot of money to be made. Let me tell you, a lot of people have been sitting on their ducats during the pandemic, and I hope y'all got plenty of shirts. That Leo Rush, that merch money. That can be long WrestleMania weekend. If you got your
definitely
shirts and stuff. So capitalize on that. So is on the GCW. Are you on the For the Culture show or GCW For the Culture? Is that what you're featured on?
Yes, we are.
And when you say we, which members? Like when you say we, who is that? Is that?
Oh, it's me, Brianna, and AJ as the Hitmakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess Swerve, he's doing a lot of kind of single stuff. So are you kind of doing the indie scene, doing a lot of tag stuff with AJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swerve's doing his thing. I'm sure he'll definitely be down there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing his thing. I'm happy for him and stuff, and we're gonna be doing our thing too. So
now, both you and AJ went to college in Maryland, right?
Yes, but not at the same time.
Not at the same time. Okay. So you were at what, University of Maryland?
Yeah, University of Maryland.
Okay.
I was there from 2013 to 2016, and AJ he was there before I got there. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And we both played football there.
I was just gonna ask that. Did you both play?
Yeah.
You just played football, or did you do other sports as well?
No, I just played football.
Okay, just played football.
Yeah.
That's not enough, right?
No, it's definitely a lot. I went to school for theater, so I have my bachelor's degree in theater as well, which also helps with wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, this is something Larry loves to talk about. This is Larry.
Listen, Eric Rowe, when we had Eric Redbeard, when we had Tim Spriggs, when we had Eel O'Neill,
Layla Gray.
It's just Layla Gray. It's just a wonderful thing to know that the theater now is really kind of, it's not a taboo thing. When I started, I was at NYU in a drama department when I first came to MCW asking to help out. But I didn't want to let anyone know that because I was like, oh, they're going to be like, he's some acting kid, we can't let him in on the inner workings. But in today's age, in 2022, we've had so many guests that have said that their background has been in either musical theater or, some sort of performing arts, and they go hand in glove. I think that this conversation or this revelation that we're experiencing is something that should have been shouted such a long time ago, and it pays in dividends. Clearly, the first time I can remember seeing you, you were training in the ring down at the Joppa with Kown and Moses. And I went right up to you and I was like, hey man, you're not going to be here for too much longer. Like I said that from just you, and you guys weren't even training. You were just maybe going over a match or something. But I saw that presence. It's the same presence we see in one of our standouts, Tim Spriggs and Miles Hawkins. And I think it's just, I got a shot. I'm elated. I'm elated to hear you say that you have a background in theater. So let's talk about it.
I mean, let's be honest. Professional wrestling is live theater, so it translates very well. Then there's nothing like it. I mean, because even movies, there's no live crowd reaction. You know what I'm saying? It's you don't even get that. You'll see that when you go to the movies and watch what the movie and stuff like that. But like theater and wrestling. It's all live feedback right on the spot. So yeah, it's very, very similar.
It's been interesting. I've heard The Rock, for like one of the biggest stars in the world, say that many times, how when people, say, how come you still go back to wrestling? And that's what he says. Like, it doesn't matter how big of a movie he's in or how big of a production he's in, that there's nothing like that live audience,
Oh yeah,
with
John Cena
wrestling.
said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
We got to get Tehuti to the theater that we do, and I think that's such a great. I don't know if you've seen this, Tehuti. We've acquired 2 new theaters in the Maryland area that we do a lot of our shows. The breakthrough shows is going to be from the Harvard of Grace Theater, and these are. Well, one's a movie theater, but the one in Harvard of Grace is an actual playhouse that vaudeville used to come through and all types of.
Oh wow!
The most awesome thing about it is that the stage still exists. So I don't know how MCW, how we're going to set it up, but a lot of the times other companies have been in there. The wrestler or whoever comes out onto the stage first and then steps into the ring, and it's a really cool visual. And I'd love to have you back. I missed out on
sounds good.
19th, we'd love to have Tehuti. So is it Tehuti, or you can't go by Ashante anymore, I guess?
Nah, that's WWE's intellectual property.
Yeah. So are you using Tehuti, or are you using your other name, Elijah King, or?
No, I'm just using my regular name, Tehuti Miles.
Okay.
Just because, why not?
Yeah,
it's never taken from you.
It's a unique name. Like, I think Tehuti, and you got a lot of background with, playing football for no reason, unless someone wants to unless someone wants to, pay you big money again and, change it. That's one thing, but I like the name.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
I noticed you kind of say it with a little bit of an accent. What is that? Where's that name derived from? I've never met a Tehuti or heard of a Tehuti until you.
Oh, so my name is Egyptian, and it means divine intelligence. But I mean, accent. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't feel like I got an accent though. But yeah.
Well, when you say your first name, it just sounds like you say like Tehuti, or where I say Tehuti. That's what I say, Tehuti. But when you kind of say like or like so it sounded a little bit. I don't know, classier or more, not English, pardon me, but, it just sounded like it was derived from something. You say it's Egyptian, and, I don't know any Egyptian, so maybe that's just the pronunciation of, that way.
Yeah, most people say Tehuti, so my name is spelled Tehuti, but people pronounce it like it's Tehudi. But so that's why I say my name is Tehuti. Not Tehuti, but most people say Tehuti anyway. Like, my family calls me Tuti just to say it quicker. Tuti. I'm like, okay. I've literally heard any type of nickname, anything that rhymes with my name. I've heard it, so I don't mind.
No, I want to say. I'm an announcer, so if I say it, I want to say it right. And I may be just hearing people say it, speak it fast, and I never got the opportunity to announce you or really be around you during your time in MCW. But when I do announce you, I want to say it the way that you pronounce it, to honor your name.
Oh, yeah. Tehuti.
Are you go ahead,
Okay.
Tara?
Oh, I was going to ask, so you mentioned your family. Do you have any other siblings or anything that are in entertainment or sports or anything like that?
My mom is the director of her own African dance company. So that's where I started performing arts as a kid, probably like 8, 9, 10 years old. I've been performing in front of crowds since that time. So yeah, wow. I used to African dance and drum. So that's how I got my start in performing arts. So been doing it for a while.
That's neat. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's your family wrestling fans too? Like, did you grow up watching it? And
I'm probably the biggest wrestling fan in my family. They only really would watch it because of me. It's not like they're gonna go out of their way to watch it. But it's totally understandable. People are into what they're into, And but yeah, my brother and a couple of my cousins are wrestling fans, but not as big as me. Like I said, they wouldn't watch it unless I was watching it or if I was on it. So
cool.
Yeah, and what led your journey to the path of the doors of MCW? I wanna get to that. Like I said, I missed your entire stay, all brief as it was at MCW. But how did you end up getting linked up with the premier company in all of Maryland?
So, well, my senior year in college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I don't know if I wanted to wrestle or if I wanted to go to Hollywood and try to struggle and make it, doing that and stuff. But I ended up when I was in the military, one of the guys I was deployed with, who's in my platoon, his ex-wife messaged me on Facebook, and she was like, yeah, there's this WWE wrestler that comes to my bar all the time. He's wild and everything like that, and I know you're in the wrestling stuff. And she was like friends with him and stuff, so she was like, yeah, would you like me to link you up with him? I'm like, yeah, of course. So that guy, it was Mojo, and another Maryland, University of Maryland football player guy too. So so I ended up linking up with him and talking to him for months and stuff like that, and then he got me the opportunity. He got me a tryout opportunity with WWE, and so I did my first tryout in June 2017, and this is before I even went to MCW. I had no wrestling training at all, and but I've done martial arts my whole life, and I'm athletic with football and stuff like that. So so I never did any wrestling at all, and did the tryout, and they said I did really, really well, but they wanted me to get training and experience. So I forget who, somebody reached out to me, I think on Twitter or something like that, about doing some interview about coming to MCW and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I got a hold of MCW, and then basically just signed up for it and everything. I started, and then the rest was history.
So you didn't play with Mojo. I knew that you had knew him, but you didn't actually play with him in Maryland.
No, I didn't play with AJ either. Neither one of them. I think they might have played together, maybe. But no, I didn't play with them. I played from 2013 to 2016, and they were before me.
Gotcha.
But we're all around the same age though, because I was in the military while they were in school.
Right. Well, you came in and picked it right up, man. Obviously, you were a guy that RJ and all, it wasn't surprising that you moved up as fast as you did, because you just kind of picked it up. But like you said, a lot of that athletic background, that helps, when you see, I think the guys that come in, that some of them that are really athletic, that understand it's not going to be easy, it kind of helps you out.
Yeah, the athleticism definitely helps, but you got to be passionate about this stuff.
Yeah.
That's number one. You got to be passionate about it. You got to want to get better. And it's, as you guys know, wrestling is getting good at wrestling. Pro wrestling is not easy. It takes time for people to actually get it. And I don't mean I can work a match, I can do a match, but I mean really get it. Can you call a 20-minute match on the fly? You know what I'm saying? Do you know who you are in and out of the ring? Stuff like that. Just can you work? You know what I'm saying? Can you talk? Because just all aspects of it, it takes a long time to get good at that stuff. So
and I know people like yourself and Leo and guys like that are impatient a lot when you start, because you want to just get it right away. But it's like a light bulb coming on, and I've always tell people it takes a lot of repetitions in there with the right people, and time, and just doing it over, and then eventually it's just like the light bulb comes on. But it takes time, and sometimes it takes people longer than it does others, but yeah, and it's one of those things that's hard to explain too. Hard to explain because I've had people say, when I use that term, getting it, and they're like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, it's kind of hard to explain until you get it.
But that's very true.
once you get it, and the light bulb starts to come on, and you put all the pieces together, then you get it. Getting it isn't something you can really explain, but it's something that takes a long time to happen.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
100% true. And unfortunately, not everybody gets it and has it, you know. So it just depends. Like I said, this depends on how passionate you are about it. Like, how much work do you want to put into it? Because like, I don't think even when I was training at MCW, the people I was training with, I don't even think they understand. Actually, they do understand, because I used to tell them all the time. They're like, how are you getting so good at it? I told them, so it's like, because I'm not just working on this at training.
Right.
I'm going home and I'm working on this for hours and
Yeah.
hours and hours. And, you know, I would sit there and I would work on punches, like, you know, on my curtain or something like that. You know, it just like everything. Like I would just sit there and just, you know, be a student of the game at all times. And that's why I would come into training and I'd feel more confident, because I'm working on it, you know, outside of what you guys see. So
I was too, man. I can't tell you the amount of times my dad, because I started training when I was 18. And I'd laugh, like, I can't tell you the times like my parents would like open my bedroom door because I'm just cutting promos about stuff in the mirror, you know, working on stuff, leaving training. You know what I mean? I'd go home from training. I was that same way too, and cut promos, and like my dad would open the door and I'd look back at him and he'd just like shake his head, pull the door shut. You know what I mean? So I get, you know, and I can appreciate that.
I totally did the same thing. When I got into the business, I was working in landscaping, and I loved the work, but it was, you know, kind of boring and monotonous. And I would cut promos all the time. I would just sit there, I'd put my headphones in, I'd go off, and I would just go and I would cut promos, and it helped me like get into character and try different things out. And because before I made my debut, I was managing, so I often had things to say, and like, you know, I had to really feel that. And I think that's, I try to explain that to some of the new kids now, and I'm just like, you know, you need to become the character that you're going to portray out there in the ring. Like, you got to, you know, talk to yourself in the car, in the shower, you know, or in your room cutting promos or whatever. But that's a big help of, you know, getting that character over.
Oh yeah.
And Axel made me, when I was young, he'd always tell me to punch door frames. He had me work on door frames because they were harder than walls. So he'd say, he'd say, I'd say, what can I work on at home? And he'd say, punches, like, but I want you to punch door frames because you'll break your hand, you know, quicker than you will, you know, on a wall. Like, a door frame's harder. But the concept was, you know what I mean? I figured out punches, you know, I figured out punches quicker. So and what you're saying, you know, about the young guys when they ask, you know, something I always think about, and I always repeat this, even to the young guys now. One of the best things I ever had said to me was by Bam Bam Bigelow, back in like the mid '90s, and he was talking about people getting it, and like the young guys getting it, and he said, the day a guy stops learning and stops figuring it out is the day that he thinks he knows it. And the day that he thinks he get it. So he would say that, and he would talk, and that this was back when he was doing ECW and the young guys there, and he would say so, and he would talk about how like Ric Flair, after being, you know, at that 8-time world champion, like in WCW, would come in and go to young guys and try to, you know, some of the younger guys, you know, and pick their brains and ask them about stuff. So he would say, I always, you know, and ask them or why they did this or why they did that, psychology. And Bigelow would always say, when I saw that, that's when I realized, like, you never stop learning, like, and you never fully get it, and you're always evolving and figuring out. But I see that with lots of young indie guys, and you probably do, and it's probably why the WWE, you know, when they bring people down to their training center, have that theory of breaking bad habits, you know, because so many indie guys think they get it long before they've ever figured it out, you know.
That's very true.
So yeah, it's definitely something you never get, but you also, you know, it's just something that always stood with me.
I was in the PC, so like it's wild. I just said this I just did another podcast or a Zoom call and stuff, and kind of saying the same thing. You know, I've wrestled just about everybody in the PC and stuff, and it's just wild how like you said, people think that oh, I get it. You know, I know how to wrestle, so I don't need to really work on anything. So it's like, I mean, so in the PC, you got your training, you know, your scheduled training and stuff. But then again, like there's also extra ring. And it's crazy how many people don't come the extra ring. And I was one of them that is always an extra ring, even though I know I get it, I know what I'm doing, but I'm always an extra ring because I'm always trying to work on my craft and get better and adapt, you know, and stuff like that. And it's just crazy because like I would get in the ring with people, and they need work, but it's like you never see them in the extra ring. It's like, you know, like this is your only job. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Right.
not like you got to go to work after this. Like this is your only job. Like they hired you to train to get better, and they're paying you to get better so they can make, you know, they're investing in you, and you're not putting in all that you can, you know, for that investment. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I just don't get it. I don't understand people. I don't understand it, you know, but it is what it is. Hey, they're the ones that still have a job and I don't, so I don't get it. I don't know.
Well, listen, I'm it's the one thing, and obviously, I mean, look, WWE, obviously, I guess they have, you know, they figured it out, but I've never understood that where they it seems like they go through phases. Like it seems like they're in a phase now, like they don't want people from the indies. Like they just want people that were athletes that weren't wrestling fans. You know, it seems like that's what they're signing. And they go through these phases, and I just don't understand it because it's like you said that you just when you got someone that's passionate about wrestling and loves wrestling and wants to learn it, you can't even compare you know what I mean, with someone that's just like,
No,
oh, they just pulled me out of, you know, pro
100%.
volleyball, you
I
know,
agree with you.
and it's, and you know, all the bumps and bruises and and what you have to put your body through and the injuries and the to go through it and get back. It just, I don't know. Like I said, obviously they figured something out. Maybe I haven't, but I don't know. In all the years I've been doing this, 30 years, and I've seen plenty people, man, come through the school, hundreds, in the 20 years combined that we've had a school, or I've had a school. And I've seen plenty of weightlifters and people that weren't fans of wrestling that came in and do it, and they just never seem to stick it through. You know, the first time they, you know, some type of serious injury, tear an ACL or something like that, they're like, forget it, they're gone. You know, and then the people that are passionate about it, that want to do it, they're trying to speed up the recovery process and not take, you know, 9 months and get back in 6. So I don't know. I've never you know, I mean, I've never been able to understand that when they have that mind shift, and it feels like they go through this every couple years, you know, and understandably maybe they get a Brock Lesnar, you know, but it just seems to me like you're going to get a lot more long-term stars. Sure, you're going to pull your Brock Lesnar that wasn't a wrestling fan, that they scouted him. You know what I mean? He was this insane athlete and he got it. But I mean, out of all the stars that they've, you know, they've created the last 20 years, you know, I mean, it seems like you get a lot more people that were the Kevin Owens and the AJ Styles, and you know what I mean, the guys that were actually fans and passionate about it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, got a couple of questions. I want to talk about some of your early influences, Tehuti, and what's next on the horizon for you. So stay with us, and we'll be right back after this brief break.
You already know your child is a wrestling superstar, so give them the chance to prove it by stepping into the ring with the most memorable birthday they will ever have. A party at the MCW Arena is a one-of-a-kind experience that gives kids of any age a chance to live their dreams and be a part of the show. Every guest will enjoy the celebration as they make memories that will last a lifetime. So skip the ball pits and trampolines and visit MCWProWrestling.com to sign up for an MCW birthday party today.
Okay, we're back.
All right, you want to bring us back, Larry?
Yeah, sure.
Then we'll finish this up 15 minutes and then he can go.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, we are back here virtually with you for the MCW Cast. We wanted to delve a little bit more into your past, Tehuti. We've talked about some things already. You mentioned martial arts and having trained in martial arts. I was aware you, were, a member of the military. But I never knew anything about the martial arts. Did you? What kind of martial arts did you train in, and did you ever compete?
Yeah. So going back, my dad has 3 black belts. So he's been teaching me martial arts since I was a kid. And I only have a yellow belt in karate, but I can tell you that I am a lot better than a yellow belt. So my dad has 3 black belts. His brothers all have black belts, and his oldest brother is a grandmaster and has like his own studio and stuff. So like martial arts is like in my blood, I guess. But yeah, so he's taught me a lot of it's a lot of self-defense, a lot of jujitsu, and stuff like that. Being in the military, they teach you a lot of hand-to-hand combats and a lot of ways to really hurt people. It just is what it is. But I've also done karate. Like I said, I've done jujitsu. I actually did a karate tournament back in 2016, and I actually placed first in the karate tournament. Right now, I'm diving into Wing Chun. I've got my own people. If people see my Instagram and stuff, I've got my own Wing Chun training dummy and stuff that I'm working on. It's really fun.
Wing Chun being the martial arts Bruce Lee.
Yes.
Was the most proficient in.
Yeah.
Just to put it out there. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've just been doing all. I mean, I can't really say that I don't have a black belt in anything or anything like that, but I've definitely in the karate tournament that I was in, I went up against black belts, and like I said, I placed first. So I'm not bragging or anything. I'm just saying I've been doing martial arts my whole life. I don't even really use martial arts too much in wrestling, because I feel like I'm more of an entertainer, and not that I don't know how to actually wrestle and amateur wrestle, because I definitely do, but I'm more of an entertainer and a character and stuff like that. So I feel like I've always told the best wrestlers don't make the most money, the entertainers do. So that's always been my focus when it comes to wrestling, though. So,
all right. Well, I know Larry mentioned one of our up-and-coming students, Tim Spriggs. He is the world Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. And so, I don't know, I can't help but think in my head about some kind of matchup down the road.
Oh,
that's just saying, just putting that out there.
Yeah.
I'm seeing where this is going.
No, I put them together, Tara. If I were a member of the championship committee, I put them together and watch them tear through the entire trade and Black Wall Street and every team. His family, the whole family, just feed them right to him. Like, what about a Brock Lesnar type tag team? Like if Brock and Ronda Rousey could team together and just tear through the entire division. Think about that.
Tehuti, with that background, did you ever think about going into MMA, or was it just pro wrestling?
No. I'm gonna give you the Adonis answer. I'm too pretty for that.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
No. I like professional wrestling. I don't want to. People have told me like, oh, you should try to get in the UFC. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't want. I put my body through a lot already, being in the military and being playing football and now wrestling and stuff like that.
And wrestling, people don't, that's the thing. I always have these arguments with people. They still, they want to jump to it's not real, or it's this and that. But people you have no idea what you put your body through and what people put your body through. Yeah. Doing professional wrestling. That's the one thing I think about wrestling being so out of the closet, so to speak, and open as to what it is now. It's kind of taken away the respect that it really deserves. People have no idea. It's easy to sit and be a fan or sit on your couch. You have no idea what it takes. It's easy to judge it based on how open it is now about what pro wrestling is. But
and the harm that comes in that, Dan, and we talked about this on the cast in the past, is it's kind of like we live in an era of like participation trophies. Like everybody gets in because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or make
everybody's sensitive nowadays.
Yeah, so it's almost like a lot of the kind of things that we protected, like how tough and legit a lot of our guys were. It's like open season now, you know, anybody can do it. You just got to have a good enough story or work the internet good enough and you know, have a career.
I can tell you firsthand that it hurts. It definitely hurts. You know, wrestling is especially on the I'm gonna take it to the TV level. Wrestling is people want to say it's fake. It's fake in the sense that we know, of course, we know who's gonna, you know, the result. You know what I'm saying? But like everything on TV is fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
reality
like,
TV is fake.
Movies, TV shows, exactly.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
If it's produced, it's probably fake. You know, that's the thing. But the reality of it is that it is real in the sense that we actually put our bodies through a lot. Like it hurts. You know what I'm saying? You kind of have to have a high pain tolerance for it. Yeah. You know, and mentally like be like, okay, I got to do this today. Like I got to take 10 chair shots or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, yeah. So like anybody that wants to think that it's fake and it doesn't hurt, come get in the ring with me and I'll show you.
Well, you know, that's a good way to explain it. When I was a teacher, I would get a lot of questions from students. What's wrestling like? You know, it's fake. It's fake. It doesn't hurt. That they're not really punching each other. And I would always try to compare it to like, well, you know, it's very much real. You know who's going to win or lose, but it's kind of like calling plays in a football game. That's very physical. And you would never think that that wasn't real. And then the kids are like, oh, wait, I play football. I get it. You know, so they would kind of make that connection. And it's like, it's just like when you're calling plays to each other, you know, except this time you're calling it to your opponent instead of your teammates, you know, and I think that kind of would get them too. But it's astounding to me how many people think fake means it doesn't hurt, you know?
Yeah.
And it very obviously does. We've all had injuries or we've all.
Because people are not open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. But like I say it again, everything you see on TV is fake. Spider-Man ain't real. The Batman ain't real.
Oh, but it was so good. We just saw that yesterday.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, so
hey, when you
go ahead, Dan.
I was going to ask you when your name that you came up with in WWE, how much did you have any input in that?
Yeah, so I had probably sent them like 6 different emails of names. Ashante was in one email, Adonis was in another email. And then one day Triple H came up to me. He's like, "Hey, what do you think about Ashante Thee Adonis? Like Megan Thee Stallion." He's like, "You know, Adonis because like you're handsome. You're a handsome dude." And so I'm like, I like it. So that's pretty much like how it went.
I was actually going to ask if Charlemagne had any influence on that. Charlemagne the God from the Breakfast Club.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
You don't know? Oh, no. I'm a big fan of his. He's on the Breakfast.
I know who Dan's talking about, but I never actually made that connection until you.
Yeah, that's what I did. I'm a big fan of Charlemagne the God.
Yeah.
He's on the Breakfast Club.
Which is a Power 105.7 up in New York City, one of the big ones.
Oh, I know Power 105. I'm from Jersey.
Yeah, so. that's the connection I made, but I'm a big fan of Charlemagne.
Oh, so you're from Jersey? I thought all this time you were from Maryland because you went to college at. Oh, okay.
Nah, I'm from Jersey originally.
Whereabouts, if you don't mind me asking, at the end of the interview?
I was born in Newark, but I grew up in South Jersey, like near the Philly area, Hamilton. That's where I grew up in Rahway and Hamilton. Not Rahway, I'm sorry, Colonia and Hamilton. But like I remember the Hamilton days more. But yeah, so but I was born in Newark though, so
okay.
I just say I'm from Newark.
I got a show in Newark this coming up this weekend at the Hart Ballroom in Newark, New Jersey. It's rough.
Yeah. Newark ain't that bad though. It ain't that bad. It could be worse.
They don't call it Brick City for nothing.
So Tahuti, who, if you could have like a dream match, like who is out there that you want to set your sights on next? Like, you could get a promoter to book your dream match.
All day.
Okay.
Yeah, or me versus Swerve.
Okay.
Yeah, all day. Like we flow really well in the ring.
Yeah.
Have you guys, either one of them two, have you ever worked them on a show
Yeah, I worked
in front of people?
I worked on NXT TV, and I've worked against Swerve on 205 Live in a triple threat, or not triple threat, a 6-man tag.
That was before you guys were together, I guess.
Yeah. But I've obviously been in the ring behind,
Right.
cameras, stuff people don't see. I've been in the ring with them many times, and it's just so easy, and we just flow so well. So I'm sure that would be good to see.
I think I remember you had, and you didn't get much off in that match, did you? Didn't he just beat the?
No, I did. No, I definitely did.
Have to revisit it.
We know how to tell a story. But yeah, no, I wish they would have gave us more time. I was actually just talking to him the other day, and he's like, yeah, I wish they gave us more time on that. It's like y'all would have seen magic.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, we've heard that before from some of our guests about, like TV time, TV matches being shorter, and on the independents maybe having a little bit more time to work and do some different things. So
yeah, the TV is always times are getting slashed all the time. It'll happen even while you're in a match. You bell rings, you're like, hey, you guys got 2 minutes now. You guys got a minute. They're like, oh, okay, let's get to this.
Yeah. Something. Time is a great segue to us kind of putting a button on this episode of the MCW Cast. I hate to do that segue right now, but just looking, we know you're very busy. So I guess any sort of social media you wanted to put over before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, you can find me Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. At Tehuti Miles, that's at TEHUTIMILES. Please don't add me on Facebook because I'm not going to accept it. I never go on Facebook. Also, if you want to reach out to me, it's probably best to on Instagram because I'm never on Twitter and TikTok. But yeah.
So basically, just go to Instagram.
Yeah.
Basically, just go to Instagram.
You can find me on all those though.
Excellent. Well, for Dan McDevitt, co-owner of MCW, the heart of MCW Terror, and myself, Larry Legend, we want to thank you for joining us on this edition of the MCW Cast. We'll see you all back here next Tuesday for another exciting edition.